My aim tonight is to move you further and move you closer to becoming number one in your race against yourself. So my presentation tonight is called Get There. And the theme would be the characters of champions. Alright? Everybody got that? Everybody can say the character of champions. Alright, think of it. I want to be low. Alright. So, what I mean by character of champions, I'm going to touch on three things. One is that I want to touch on your why. You know, what is your why in life? The second thing I'm going to touch on is principles. And the last thing is going to be adjustments. So the first thing is that my why, some people don't know their why. What's their reason for living? So some of you go to a championship, you can win a race, you can win a match, but you don't know what you're on this earth for. So like me, myself, my brother is sitting right there. My why is that my brother must be the best at what he's doing, engineering at the moment. And my family needs to get out of poverty. And poverty don't mean that I lived in any back door and no board house. No. Poverty means that they must be financially stable. I must be able to do and live as best as they can live. And that's what wakes me up in the morning. Now some of you don't even know what you're coming to school for in the first place. So what I want to talk to you about is that I want you to know, just take a minute, take a second, and think about what is important to you. What's the most important thing to you at this point? What is moving you? What is going to make you the best person in the world? So for me, Bolt, when I watch Bolt, I used to say, oh, Bolt is great and he works hard and whatever. But Bolt's reason, Bolt's why, is that he wanted to be a legend. Everybody knew that? Yes. That's what wakes him up every morning. So when Gatlin make up him nice and whatever, and say, I'm the legend. And just forget about everything else. Kobe Bryant, when he started off, he said, he started was a draft pick for another club, and they were like, hey, wanted to play for my club. And he's like, no. I only play for a big club like LA Lakers because I won 6 championship rings. He only has 5 now. He wanted 6. And for all his life, and at 34, he's still playing because he still wants one more. I'm not giving up, although he just retired. But that was because of injury, why he retired. But if not, he would have gone on and on just to ensure that he got his 6 rings. I've read about another basketball player. Sorry to use basketball example, but there's a youth named Kevin Durant. Everybody know Kevin Durant? Yes. Sorry about Kevin Durant. I'm like, why is this youth so humble even though he's so successful? He said, yo, I'm doing this because they killed my coach when I was young. So I want to be great because I'm a coach. How many of you here want to be great because you're a coach? So not even respecting the coach. Everybody here will do it for their coaches. Coach, I'm watching them. Some of them in here. Want to decide believe in them coach? So what about around the back? The football team, I believe in the coach? I don't understand. But we see myself in here earlier, so I don't understand. I don't like that. So let me just wrap that first story. So the first part of it is, let me just get this right. So the first part of this is I want you to understand your why. And I want some people in here to understand that why is more important than what. So if I had a projector here, we'd have a little division sign of why at the top and what at the bottom. Some of you in here have PMS. Sorry girls, I'm not being disrespectful. It means men and women in here have PMS. You might wonder, what am I talking about? We are based mainly by power, money, and sex. That's our driving force. That's most of the Western world driving force. Power, money, and sex. Not trying to be the greatest person they can be. So I'm going to enforce that tonight I want you guys to think about, yes, those things are important, let me not get that wrong, but don't be driven by those things, because when they go, and I'm going to share with you later tonight, when I lost all of those things. Is that okay? So there was a little guru that I spoke about. I remember there's this guru, a successful man, and he said, hey, I want to be successful. And the man said to me, if you want to be successful, meet me at the beach tomorrow at 4 o'clock. The man said, but I never asked you to be a lifeguard. I never asked you to be a swimmer. I tell him I want to be successful, I mean I'm going to the beach. He said, meet me at 4 o'clock. So the man came, dressed like maybe I am, went to the beach 4 o'clock in the morning. So the man came here well dressed. The man said, well, I told you you're coming to the beach, right? Sorry, come in the water. So he came into the water, and the water was, the man was further out in the water. So he came out and he's like, the water was AI. And everybody was there. And he's like, okay, so what's the secret to the success? Man said, come out a little further. So the water came up, chest high. And still not, he said, tell me no man, you gotta get me upset and I got me out. Someone would have gone to God, right? I waste some time. The man said, come a little closer, man. So the water come up to his neck. He's walking out. Water is man said, come on, look closer. The water came up to the nose. Man said, yo, me can't even breathe. The man came again. Man said, come look closer. When the man came close enough, the man go like this and lock him under the water. Sorry. Alright? And lock him under the water, and when he goes to get battling, and then you let him out. And he said, when you're under the water, what happened? He said, want to breathe. Man said, if you want to be successful, if you want to be successful as much as you want to be, then you'll be successful. So tonight I want you to think about it like that. So even though you've got some measure of success, there are bigger challenges ahead that you will need to dig a little deeper for. So the next thing, for you to achieve that, you will need what I will call your principles. So anybody here know Mayweather, Moneyweather? What do you know Moneyweather? Anybody like Moneyweather? Put up the hand. I like it. In boxing, right? But this guy got principles. 50 games, 50 boxing matches undefeated. He must have something right, no? 49. Why? This guy, when he's boxing, he's like, bam, bam, walk off, and tease you, like, fool. And he play him hand and he play him, roll him shoulders. All he's doing, what he's doing to his opponent? Frustrating. However, some of you, as soon as somebody taunts you and tease you, you lose your composure. And you get all up in your feelings. And I'm talking male and female here. Because I've seen on the football field as somebody start tease. I watch UTEC and UE games, and as soon as a man start tease them get all up in their feelings and them start fighting on the field. Because I've seen this before. Why? You don't have the principles to maintain and manage during tough times like that. I've seen Bolt and Gatlin. Gatlin was on form earlier this year, right? But you know that? Early up in the year, Gatlin was on form, Bolt was in there. Everybody was like, Bolt is gonna get beaten. Some of you did say Bolt will get beaten, right? I'm lying, man. Me did say Bolt will lose. Me did say so. Anybody else not believe? No, not even one person? Me see your hand. Don't watch your face. Me see your hand. Anybody else did say Bolt will get beaten? You did say that? Me like Roger. Roger is fair. You know?
Not by that drugs.
I cannot justify it. I cannot argue that point. However, what did Bolt do in that time? Keep him composure. And that is the character of a champion. At no point in time did Bolt ever said to himself, or in any interview said, boy, I'm not so sure if I'm gonna win. Everything is like, just wait at the finals. Some of you, as soon as your mother tells you, say, you're not good, I hate that. I like, your mommy just dissed me last night, on the call with a friend. I like, my mother did that to me. Yo, I don't know what did the one mommy, No, Oh no, sorry. sorry, I got distracted. Alright? But what I want you to understand is that you can't be up in your feelings. You have to work by your principles. So I watched Stephen Curry. Why not Curry? Curry, Golden State never have any fans till last year. So I don't have Curry fans. But I like Curry. Curry has been injured for years. Hold on. Curry has been injured for years. Anybody know that? But I like Curry. Curry went to training and I watched an interview with him for the finals. And they said, hey, Curry, how did you do it? And he said, well, in training, he, been practicing. But for 3 different spots around the rim, he did it 77 times. Let's just get that right. Around the rim, he picked 3 spots, which he calls his sweet spots. And he did that 77 times. How many of you even spend half an hour more on a training field after when training done? You? Oh, you're a coach. You're a coach. But Curry spent hours after training is over. And he went like this. So I'm thinking, 1, 2, 3, I'm tired. Alright. So we know that I've training after maybe 3rd shot. What? 4, 5, 6. I'm sure I'm run to catch the ball. What? Him 1 on the field. So, 8, 9, 10. How much longer did he even reach 10? They reach 10? They reach 77? No. Right. So what my point is that on the finals, I read that when I watched the interview, they said for the final shot, they were 21 points down. And they weren't at Golden State. They were at another, the opposing team stadium. And they were 20 points down. And for the last 7 shots, it was 7 3-pointers by Curry. And for one of them, the guy was 6 feet, maybe 8, 9. And his hand span is maybe like crazy. Right? And Curry stepped back 2 steps and closed his eyes and shot. 3-pointer, won the game. Now come on. You couldn't do that if you never practice, right? And worse, in closing eyes, in bossy. How much I could have even scoot a basket with the eyes open? My eyes open and me can shoot a 3-pointer much less. And this man can step back in front of a 6 feet 9 person about. That's crazy, right? No, so this is principles. Cool? Now, what I want to get from that is that Curry is not the only person that does this. It's just an example that I could find. You get me? And what I want you to understand is that you cannot be living by your feelings. You have to create habits. So for me, I go to bed like an early bird, like 10 o'clock. Feel like a little pygmy dog. However, I wake up before you. I wake up at 4. I only sleep for 6 hours. By the time my work starts at 10, I've already done 6 hours on you. I've already maybe, if I stay up to 12 o'clock, I basically done a full day's work before my staff starts working. So when I call them at 12, I'm almost done. That's how I'm one step ahead of them most of the times. It doesn't happen all the time, and sometimes, yes, there are challenges, but at the end of the day, I couldn't have managed 2 companies and part 1, 2 others by myself if I never have the principles. So at this point, I want to just share with you that whatever you want in life, create the principles for it. Stick to it. If you say you're going to write a book, write a book. If you say you're going to finish school, finish school. Some of you right now, if you go up to your body and you say, hey body, I'm going to stay up tonight for 12 hours and study. But they say, oh no, what are you talking about? We never done this before. What are you talking about? That's why someone will fall asleep 1 hour into his study. When they never did it before. But he's like crazy. He might try for an hour, but he'll give up. So at the end of the day, what I want you to understand is that if you don't train it, it can't give you back. The last thing I would like to call it is adjustments versus excuses. So some people might hear me a while ago and say, yo, look at you typing, talk to him here or whatever. But let me just share something with you. 2013, started business 2011. Dalton Myers, God bless him, give a person like me an opportunity 2011. I just finished school. Tell my mother, hey, I'm not doing no dental school. I'm going to do this marketing thing. For 1 year, my mother don't speak to me. Because she said, yo, you could have gone to dental school and gone this foolishness. But in August, I came in the front page of the paper, and some person did sign me to do some work. And a couple weeks later, I was signed by ATI to do some marketing work for them. I just finished it. And I was doing, and let me share something with you. When I was at UE, I was a biotechnology student. You hear this? I was a biotech student at the University of West Indies. I had an internship at Red Stripe for 6 months. And I came out November 2011 owning a business in marketing. So you might be sitting here and saying, this is crazy. I'm telling you a real life story. Now my passion was with sciences. I did it all my life and I love it to this day. However, there was just something that was missing from it. And after the Red Stripe called me after working on a couple of things and said, hey, we can't renew your contract. And I said, nobody will ever tell me they can't renew their contract again. And from that day, I've never worked for somebody. Now, how many of you could say, yo, when I'm with my mother, not my best friend, but at the time, for 1 entire year, I don't hear from her. How many of you could manage that? So, alright, we survived, we go through 2013, Richard Branson picking 20 young people in Jamaica to train them in business. I was selected in the 20. I was trained well. Now, from that 20, thank you. From that 20, I was like, business was sweet. In that time, I had some friends, I had some, close people to me. I finished May, and in June, we were working at Contender, and it was a major project for us, and we were working Contender, and unfortunately, we were robbed. All of the equipment that I started out with from 2011, every single one. Within 3 to 4 days, people were talking inside the company, say, yo, can't come back. So within weeks, they start joining teams. So the 9 split into maybe 3 companies behind my back. And by the end of June, I got an email from one of my good clients. Say, hey, Hassan sent me an email. Say, hey, I just got 2 offers from your employees. So what do you mean? So, oh, they just gave me an offer for half the price of what you charge me. So what? So, alright, just one. So we just call my lawyer and say, yo, we need to fix this thing. Before the evening was over, my phone had stopped ringing. clients were calling me saying, yo, me get an email to you. What you can do for yourself. You know the little thought, eh? Yeah, what you can do for yourself. Before leaving 17 clients, small businesses was our focus at the time. And out of 17, I left with 3. The rent that I was paying was exorbitant. I was living, as I was telling you, PMS, I was living the life at 22, living it. I had major clients, I was young, I never had much responsibility, I was okay. I lost everything. Then we use other little personal, the little girl gone to, other little things going to, everything just start moving. I mean, I said, oh, go on and have a little, go for a little life. Nothing never there. I end up move out of a big apartment, I'm going to live in a small place in Amona. And but the things that I couldn't even hold. Everything pack up on top of each other. And I remember, let me just tell you, this part is called adjustments instead of excuses. And I kind of get, when it lose my way a little bit. In that time, I'm not preaching religion, but for me, I found God through that, right? However, not something to preach here. That's not a conversation to have here. However, it gave me principles. That was like my guiding principle, right? And from there, I took months, struggled, took all the beating from all the people that were around me, that were my staff, that I used to have to beg them to do a project for me, because I'm going to give them a deposit. But what I did was I stopped everything and I started reading, start training. That's how I create the habit of going to my bed at 10 and waking up at 4. I used to have a little small office by Dewey, and one of my staff members used to know that after everybody leave, I fall asleep on the desk. And that I didn't have a home, but it didn't feel like home. So I didn't go home. So there's a little sick bay there. I was just running at the sick bay, take a quick shower, and go back to work. So when my staff come, I go home at 6 o'clock, take a new pair of clothes, take a quick shower, come back out before them come, so they will say that I slept there last night. That's the kind of work that I had to put in, and I call that adjustments. Now today, 2 years later, I still making mistakes. But I can say, after 2013, I know of the RGR Group as my biggest client. And I know of 7 major brands, and 2 weeks ago, I was in Cayman. Cayman called me over from Jamaica to come do the marketing for their fashion weekend. Now for me, that's success in a minute form, but I still don't consider it success. Because I have a team, and I had to fire 2 people this week. And that made me sad. Because I thought I was a coach, right? And I could have used my exam, my experience to teach somebody else what I went through. And they didn't get it. And I had to let them go. But at this moment, what I'm trying to say to you is that I went through a lot. Emotionally, financially, I am currently going through a financial trouble because when I got the money, I never mentally trained for finances. We start expand quickly. I buy up everything, we try to do everything, as the money comes, we spend it. I wasn't trained. So now, even though I make crazy money, I make maybe millions of Jamaican dollars this year, but can I find it? No. My bank account needs some sorting out. But at the end of the day, I learned a lesson. So what I'm going to ask is that I didn't make any excuses. I just made some small adjustments. And I'm going to ask you right now to consider making small adjustments. Why Bolt is considered a legend is because he made a small adjustment. Because he failed the year before. If you know, Bolt came last at a major tournament. Well, he pulled up. Some of you might not know. Right? Because people only remember good things with people. But Bolt failed and he had to come back. Right? So, I'm asking you now to just consider making some small adjustments. Stop making excuses. Living by your principles and not by your feelings. And living by your why instead of your what. I thank you.